Hey, Claire.
Hello.
So it's getting chilly here in Texas for us
Mhm.
Texans. And I've just been up at night worried about your chickens.
As you should be, because I watched the weather this morning. It was 34 degrees at the time that I usually go and open the door and let them in the run. And I was like, no, you can't. They're still babies. And according to the charts that I found online,
Okay.
they still need about 5 more weeks before they can handle like 50-degree temperatures. So which tells me they'll never be ready for 34 degrees. The chart
Wait,
didn't go that far, so I think I need to find a new chart somewhere. But yeah, it's cold. I'm not okay.
so are chickens really not capable of cold weather?
Uh,
They have
I've
feathers.
been told that their feathers are insulating and that they have chickens further north than Texas. So I I'm assuming that they can tolerate more, but my sweet chickens were not ready this morning. So,
So what did you
yeah.
do? So you have them wrapped up in cozy blankets. How are you supporting them through this
I
difficult?
I mean, like emotionally or physically? Because
Let's go with physically.
okay, so I added more bedding. So I added more hemp bedding into their coop, so that they could do their thing. They like make little holes in it, and then like
Mhm.
cuddle with each other. They make like a chicken puddle. It's really sweet. So more bedding. I added a heat lamp, which there's a lot of controversy online in the chicken Facebook groups about heat lamps. But this heat lamp is not inside their actual hen house. It's in the storage area where they have no access. So they can't fly
Mhm.
into it. It's chained to where it can't fall down and catch things on fire, just heating the ambient air inside the, the hen house. And then they have this like heating pad that radiates heat so they can huddle up next to it and stay warm. So I think they're okay
Well
for
taken
now.
care of.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
have you seen them this morning? You let them out and or you just left them in?
I've not let them out yet. I
Okay.
am going to wait until it's 60 degrees, which the high is 67 today. So it might be a very small window where I allow them to be outside. Yes.
Well, I'm sure we're now going to just need to change the name of this podcast to
The chicken space.
oh, good one. I
Mhm.
just imagine Emily, the one who edits these, is just like, "Ugh, another chicken topic."
I never actually really go back and listen to a podcast once we produce it. And so maybe she's editing out all the chicken stuff. I don't know.
This may never go to air.
But nobody's emailed, reached out, like dying to know what's happening with the chicken. So I'm assuming they're still in the podcast. They're still getting regular updates. So it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the other update that I am waiting to hear about is the rocket. So let's give everyone a summary of what was discussed before. Claire, what was the mission that you had?
So I did outreach this week where I went to a homeschool co-op group and got to share with them about rockets. So broad topic on the subject of rockets, everything about rockets. And I do this homeschool group. It's called Classical Conversations, and they have a 3-year rotation of their curriculum. So I've actually done this for them, done like a little outreach for them every 3 years for the past 9 years, I think. I can't remember if this is my third or fourth time going and talking to them about rockets. So it's really fun to get to see some of the kids that are older who have seen me before. And we talked about this last time too, Natasha, but every time that we talk about rockets, like it's never going to be the same because I, I only had 1 hour, and packing in my passion for rocketry into 1 hour is impossible. Hmm. And I never want to do like have the same spin to it. So yeah, this one it was like a go big or go home.
Uh-huh. You
I told
did.
you I was building a rocket model to demonstrate the different systems, subsystems in a rocket. And then I sent you a picture. Was it what you were imagining I was making?
I had the vision of a poster board assembly, like something my kindergartner would like put together with like the parts of a rocket, and that is not what you did.
Be really
You
impressed if
had
your
like was
kindergartner.
like an well, thank you. It was like an 8-foot cardboard tube was the picture that I got.
Yes, I bought it's a concrete, uh, what's it called? You fill it with concrete, and it's like a
Oh,
mold. It's a mold. So it's
gotcha.
a cardboard tube that's meant to be a mold for concrete pillars. Found that, and then I cut it in half, so it's like the cross section of what a rocket would look like, and then I glued those 2 on top of each other. So it ended up being 8 feet tall. I did cut it down to 6 feet tall so that I could
Oh,
add the nose
thank
cone to
God.
complete the full 8 feet.
Pause here. So did
Mhm.
you go to the store and purchase this mold?
Yes, I walked into our local hardware store
Uh-huh.
and wandered around, probably looking like I was very lost, but I was just picking up random items, and I'm sure they were like, "What is she actually wanting?" I was like,
I'm just
"No."
imagining the conversation, right? Where you're like, "So I need a large tube." And they're like, "What are you building, man?" "A rocket."
I actually had a dream the night before I did this outreach presentation where, I knew that that morning I wouldn't have time to come back to my house after dropping kids off at school before the presentation. So I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna go to Starbucks and drink coffee while I kinda prep for this, and I'm gonna have all my stuff packed in my Tesla." And my in my dream, I was thinking through this, and, I was at Starbucks in my dream, knowing that, "Oh, this was my plan," and the cops, like, surround my car, and they're like, "We got a report that there's a missile." And I'm like, "No, no, no, it's a rocket." "Okay, wait, no, it's a model of a rocket," and, like, I couldn't explain, like, why I had this thing in my car, because so I have a Tesla Model X, and it fits the entire width of that
I was
rocket.
about to say,
So I had to, like, shove it in the back, and the nose touched the windshield. So,
well done. I'm sure you
it
didn't even prepare for that. Did you? Yeah.
absolutely not. It was perfect. It perfectly fit. But then I was thinking, how appropriate is this? Because SpaceX, they transport the astronauts to the rocket to be launched
Oh,
in my
mhm.
car,
Oh, there you
in
go.
a Model X Tesla. So I
That's
felt very
funny.
official.
Okay. So then what happened at the outreach?
Uh, it was the first time that I've ever gotten choked up while talking about rockets. That's what happened.
What?
So,
What?
yeah. So I have all these rocket parts that are I have the, oxidizer that's shown as like I took some poster board and wrapped it in a tube, like, made it into a tube, and you could, like, set that into the rocket, so the rocket had shelves, so you could put the different systems in it, and so we could look at the different size or the ratio comparing the different parts systems of a rocket, relative to their size. So the whole rocket, most of it is made out of fuel, and so that was a good representation of what's it's really like. And then I had a little figurine of an astronaut. I was like, "This is the size of a rocket compared to this actual size of an astronaut." And they were like, "What?" And the payload is not very much of it, and the guidance and navigation system. So I had the kids, as I was talking through the different parts, put those up into the rocket, and that was really cool. They had a lot of questions, and that was really impactful for them to understand how rockets work. But before that, I wanted to share my story because I think it's really important when you do outreach or talk about engineering to make it accessible to them and see, like, hey, you could be an engineer working on a rocket. That seems really abstract and unreachable for you, but I did it. And so I'm going to share with you my imperfect story of how I got there.
Mhm.
And so this I did something similar to what we experienced in a workshop that we did where we had a speaker come and identify different teachers in the room.
Mm.
So I did that. And so I picked out the kids that were there and I said, "Okay, you're going to be 8-year-old me and you think you're going to be a children's author, and you wrote a book about why pigs are pink, and it's because they eat too much ketchup. And I said, you are 9-year-old me. So I was like, who's 9? And of course, all the kids are like so excited because that's how old they are. I don't know why that makes them so excited when they hear a number and they're like, that's my age. That's a big thing. So I'm like, who's 9? Oh, it's me. Please pick me. I'm 9. So I was like, okay, you're 9-year-old me. You got to watch the Sojourner and Pathfinder rover land on Mars when you were 9. You got to watch that on TV and thought, I don't know how you become a part of that, but I want to be a part of that. And I had the little Lego rover figurine of the Pathfinder, which I still haven't opened. It's in the box. You can see it behind me.
Yeah.
On my bookshelf right there. And it's from when I was 9, so it's pretty old. But
Wow.
I showed that and I was like, this is the rover that landed on Mars. And I had a binder where I had clipped out all the newspaper articles I could find of this landing when I was 9, and I had put it together in this binder. And I was like, and you made this because you were so excited about it, but you didn't know what to do with this. Like, you just knew you wanted to be part of it. And I was like, okay, and you're 10-year-old me. You got to go visit NASA Johnson Space Center for the first time. And that's when you saw that you could be an astronaut and get to work at NASA. And that's where you get to do these cool things. And then there's all the parents, because in a homeschool co-op, they call them tutors, but they're the teachers of
So you
each
got
grade
the
level.
parents involved?
Yeah. I was like, raise your hand if you're a tutor. And at first they're like, oh, wait, does that mean you're going to call on me? I don't want to be called on. Like, so I just start pointing at people. I'm like, okay, you're Miss McNeil, my 7th grade pre-algebra teacher. And I was failing. I did not get it. It did not click for me. And you made me come in every day before school and believed in me and told me that it would click and that I would be good at math because I never gave up and you never gave up on me. And that's what I'm like. So I was like, so thank you, Miss McNeil. And they're like, you're
a therapy session for you.
Yeah. So, then I got to pick out some other teachers, and I was like, you're my 9th grade biology teacher who gave the assignment to figure out not only what I wanted to do, because people would say, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you'd be like, I want to be an astronaut. Nobody had ever said, well, how do you do that? And so my 9th grade biology teacher, Miss Huff, she said, well, how do you do that? You need to figure out what school do you need to go to? What degree do you need to have? What classes do you take? What other places can you work with that kind of degree? The question's never been asked to me before. And that's when I figured out, oh, to be an aerospace engineer, which is what a lot of astronauts are, well, then I would need to go to a school that's really good at aerospace engineering and has that program. And these are classes I'd take. Texas A&M University is highly ranked in aerospace engineering. I'm going to go there. I'm going to do that. You can work at Boeing or Lockheed Martin. I ended up working for Boeing and then work at NASA. Did that too. So that really set my trajectory. And then I shared about, I had a teacher in high school who was my computer science teacher. There was one guy in the room. I was like, you are Mr. Shum. Mr. Schramm was my computer science teacher, and I told him that the computer hates me and it's just not going to work. And you said, no, it doesn't hate you. And then introduced me to the equation that I've shared on this podcast before of bewilderment plus exposure equals obvious. So you said it's part of the equation to be bewildered. You have to have that to eventually get to obvious. Now we just need some exposure. You need to practice some more time with this computer, and eventually it'll become obvious. So I shared this with the kids, and I was like, I just want you to know that because of Miss McNeil, I stuck with math, and I took one of the hardest math courses you can take at Texas A&M and aced it. And I'm really good at math now. And because of Miss Huft, I figured out what I wanted to do with my life and how to do that. And then because of Mr. Schramm, like, I am okay with being bewildered and get that exposure. And guess what I got to do for NASA? I was a computer programmer for the space shuttle program. That's pretty cool. So I was like, thank you. Tell your tutors thank you. Tell your parents thank you, because they're the ones that are helping you get to where you are right now to where you don't think you might be able to get to in the future, but you can with help. So anyway, it was
Um,
emotional, but really cool because the kids were like, "Oh, yeah," like because some of them would say, "Oh, I don't like math," or "I don't like science," and you hear that all the time. Like, well, do you, or do you just not have a lot of confidence in it? You just need one person to believe in you, and then
yeah,
you need to believe in you. So
I
yeah,
love that. And I bet it was so impactful to the parents and the adults in the room as well.
there were several crying. Yes.
Oh my gosh. I have like chills. That's so good, Claire. I love it.
It
Because
was
I
really
remember,
fun.
yeah, it's just such a perfect way to like engage with the audience and tell your story that's not just like bullet points and slideshows, which slideshows are great with pictures, but if yeah, I just love it. That's so good.
And then we got to launch straw rockets, and then we launched 2 model rockets, which was really fun. So, yeah.
Okay, well, we absolutely have to share a picture of your rocket. It may just be the cover of this episode.
Yes. Yeah, I'll definitely share that. It's going to travel with me anytime we do
What's that?
conferences.
Where
So,
is the rocket now?
it's in my upstairs right now, but it'll eventually, I
I thought it
think
was gonna make an appearance. Like, it'll just like be behind you in all your calls now. There's just a rocket.
that would actually be really,
The
really
Vivify
cool.
Vivify logo
Ooh, I'm liking this. Yeah, I wonder what my
at the
husband
STEM
would think.
space. Yeah, it's your office.
This is now a permanent part of my furniture, is this
I
rocket.
as it should be, and then add a hook. It's basically a coat rack.
Oh, totally. It's got shelves too, so I could put all sorts of things in there.
Yeah.
I
And
like
doesn't
the
he
way
have
you
a
think.
CNET bit related business? Like it is representing him as well.
That's right.
You're including him.
Yes. Nice. Yeah, so, it's been really fun, but that is actually a good segue to an episode that I just recorded that
Oh,
will be published before this episode goes out, um, and I have some questions for you before I really talk about it because you were not a part of that episode,
mm-mm.
sadly.
Tell me more.
It was amazing, and I've been reading this book. I'm gonna pull it up right now on my Kindle. There is a book that is by 2 therapists that work in the engineering department at CU Boulder in Colorado.
Two
It's an
therapists.
embedded program within the engineering department at the university. They're therapists, 2 engineers.
We need that.
Right. Exactly what I said. So they wrote a book and it's called Decompile Your Mind: An Engineer's Guide to Thought. What is it? Let me pull it up. I don't want to missay this. Uh, uh, uh. An Engineer's Guide to Thoughts and Emotions. And I started reading this book because I was going to interview them and learn more about this. I'm like, why did I not have this sooner? And I'm also thinking, I need to share this with every engineer I know because it's just so good. But not just for engineers, it's also for like high achievers and thinking
Mm,
through how we teach STEM to kids who are dealing with these strong emotions. We always talk about how to help them handle failure. That's such a big part of STEM education. But I wanted to share some of the things in this book because it has these really great exercises that you can do to
cool.
help you think through things. So that
Okay.
was very ambiguous to what we're gonna what we're gonna
Yeah.
do. Um, so one of the exercises in this book is doing a self-compassion break. Natasha, in your experience working in engineering,
Hmm.
do you feel like you had a lot of compassion for yourself? Thinking specifically when you were in college, when we were in college doing aerospace
Okay.
engineering, how were you towards yourself in the midst of all of that?
I was definitely not compassionate at all. Like I was always felt guilty if I wasn't working on homework right away or if I didn't do well on a test. It was like, oh, you should have studied harder or you should have, reached out and gotten help and all the things. So yeah, I was never like, it's okay, you did your best.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And do you feel like an imposter sometimes? This is not part of the book, but uh, I feel like an imposter sometimes when I'm teaching my students and they're getting so stressed out and be like, "What an idiot. I didn't even think to do that," or "Why can't I get this to work?" And I'm always like, "Hey, we don't talk to ourselves that way. Like, you're doing great." And I'm thinking, if I were you, I'd totally be saying the same
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
all like the negative self-talk.
Mhm. Yeah. So one of the exercises in this book, which is why I'm really appreciating the approach it takes, is it has these exercises you do, and one is to take a self-compassion break. And the first thing it does is you pick a statement that resonates with you to encourage mindfulness. First, have you heard the term mindfulness before?
Yes.
Okay. It defines it as the practice of directing attention to the present moment with kindness and non-judgment, which seems really difficult to do. So this makes it more accessible, I feel like, when it says to pick one statement. So here's the statements that I want you to pick. I want you to imagine yourself back in undergrad and you're
Okay.
stressed out about something. Okay. Is it, I am experiencing distress. This is painful. I am noticing tension in my body. I am noticing this moment of suffering. Is there a one statement that really resonates with you?
I am noticing this moment of suffering.
How
Wow.
engineering of that statement is that,
Yeah.
right? I imagine your husband saying that actually.
No, he would, he loves engineering, so I don't think he suffered, in undergrad. He loved every minute of it.
This is true.
Um, yeah, I mean, I would definitely say that was the last statement.
Mhm. Yeah. So
So
I
I just
haven't
acknowledge it and then
you
move
just
on? Is that the
you just pick one that resonates with you.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
pick that one. I am noticing this moment of suffering.
Mhm.
Okay, and then you pick a statement that resonates with you to encourage common humanity. Here's the statements. We all suffer. This pain reminds me that I am human. I am connected to others in this pain. Pain is a part of the human experience. Any of those statements, you're like, yes.
I mean, pain is common to the human experience. We'll go with that one.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's good. Okay. And then you're supposed to pick another statement to encourage self-kindness. So it's like walking you through identifying your emotion, seeing it like as not something that's just specific to you, but like this is a normal experience, and then something that encourages self-kindness. So here's some. May I love myself. May I offer myself compassion. May I be curious about what I am needing right now.
Ooh,
May I be a friend to myself.
I like the "What do I need right now?"
Mhm. I so this is what I was wondering. I could have selected the ones that you would have selected. Pretty quickly. Yeah, may I be curious about what I am needing right now. So the reason why I did this with you, because I wanted to see if you would do what I thought you would say. And it's what kind of the whole book is about. It's how, as engineers or people that are wired like engineers, we often approach things with the same way as we approach an engineering problem. Like, identify the problem, now look for the solution. And our emotions are, they don't work that way. So your self-kindness was looking for what you need right now, but what I think you were trying to say is, well, how do I just solve it?
Yep.
But you can't do that with your emotions.
Why not?
So, because you have to read the book and find out.
Well, that was a
But
good teaser.
uh-huh. Yeah. But I think it's so interesting. I'd never thought about it this way, and the reason why this book's called Decompile Your Mind, it's using the same language as, like, computer programming and, how you
Mm.
just kinda have to go back and break it all apart, like, detangle your emotions from the analytical side of you, and I think it's often an issue even earlier. This is definitely targeted at engineering professionals or students in college. But I think even early on in elementary school, when kids are dealing with the struggle in STEM, you can listen to the previous episode, but we talk about like an identity as good at math, good at science, good at STEM.
Right.
And then these kids will struggle and be like, I am now a bad person. I am really dumb. It's like, no, you
Yeah.
just don't immediately know the answer because you've never had to struggle in this way before. But, you can't approach it as a problem to solve, more just it could be just part of the human experience. Like, when something's new, it can stress you out. Like, that's normal.
Mhm.
That's a good thing. And then going back to the equation that my computer science teacher taught me in high school about bewilderment plus
I love
exposure
that.
equals obvious. Like that bewilderment, you gotta have it there. It's part of it. It's not a problem to be solved. It's part of the equation. It leads to the
Yeah.
solution. So,
Okay, but I'm gonna push back here a little bit
ooh,
because this is feeling like every kid's a winner and we all need first place trophies.
hmm,
So I want to credit some of my high achievingness to some of the self talk, right? And so it's like a chicken and egg to continue our chicken theme, where it's like, would I be as successful right now if I didn't have this personality? And if I so let's take mental health aside. I feel like we all deserve to be compassionate to ourselves and to have confidence and to have that identity. But I also want to think about we should strive to perform well and like you know what I'm trying to say? Because okay, I
yes.
got the problem wrong. The teacher shouldn't say, "Oh, that's okay. We all make mistakes," and then move on without correcting the behavior. And basically, hard work is important, is what I'm getting at. How we do that hard work is maybe what we have to rethink.
I think that is absolutely true. And the pendulum can swing too far either way, I think, is what you're saying. And I think
Yeah,
there is a reason why there is this commonality amongst engineers or high achievers where we're all kind of wired this certain way. It is because of a lot of the work that we put in. There's a nurture and a nature part of that,
right.
I'm sure. I don't know what the balance is there, but um, yeah, not everybody can be an engineer, and that's okay. Like it's
Mhm.
there's going to be some distinguishing moments in your academic life that some people just aren't cut out for it, and just because they are not succeeding in a certain way doesn't mean we should push them to do that just because they, it's like, "Oh, well, you're just too stressed out. We're just gonna make it easier and lower the bar." It's like, "No, we still need airplanes to fly, so we need some really smart people to be
Right.
working on them." So, yeah, I definitely think there's truth there. I think some of the issues that like this book, and I don't wanna put words in the mouths of the professionals that we interviewed last time. They would be great to address this issue better than I would. So, with a grain of salt, from my perspective, I think, uh, what we get a lot of now in K-12 with students shutting down is because they haven't had appropriate scaffolding of how to manage normal emotions in a way that's healthy. So that doesn't mean that we should just give everybody an A, like, just for effort. Like, no, you do need to succeed to a certain level, but there might be some barriers to prevent you from doing that because you're shutting down too early because you're overwhelmed with emotions that we need to handle better. And there's some
Right.
tools that you can help kids with that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a really good topic. You know, you can think of it about it from the professional's perspective of like, how do you fix our brains now as adults and that we have like anxiety about work and our own self-confidence and things like that, but also how do you build kids up where when we talk about social emotional learning, coupled with STEM specifically, and confidence in math, confidence in science, but also keeping them working hard, and like how do you motivate them and things. So I think we can pause here and make this a whole other podcast topic. I love it. This is a really good one.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. There's so much to unpack here. But if you didn't get a chance to check out the previous episode, make sure you go and do that. And yeah, next time maybe we'll talk a little bit more about specific ways in the STEM classroom that you can help students with their social emotional learning or growth mindset and pushing past failure.
I love it. And don't worry, there will be another chicken update. But for
Always.
now, STEM space out.